Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Amir, and in this video I want to talk to you about how you can flip cars legally. There's huge myths out there on the internet, and everybody that you ask that tell you, hey, can I flip cars? How is it legal? What am I going to do to make sure that I'm not maximizing my state limits and regulations and laws? And people are getting very stressed about not breaking the law, right? That's one extreme of the side. And then there's the other extreme side of people who are going to be doing it regardless. They're title flipping, or they don't care about their state limits and regulations, and they're just like, screw everybody, I'm just going to make my money. But in this video I want to talk to you about a few ways that you can go about doing this legally so you're not getting in trouble with the law. Regardless of what your state limits and regulations are, there's still a few things you can go about going around this and still make sure that you're making a sustainable income from flipping cars. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So let's touch a little bit on what we've mentioned earlier in the video, right? There are those people on the extreme side of things who are going to be like, flipping cars is 100% absolutely illegal. I'm not breaking the law. That's not me. You're a scammer. Peace out. And then there's the other extreme end of people who are going to be title floating. Well, title floating is basically where most people will, what they will do is, let's say that I'm buying a car off of Facebook Marketplace and I'm saying, hey, I like this car, whatever, I'm gonna offer you this much money for it. The owner agrees to accept my offer, and now they're gonna hand me the title. On every single title, there's gonna be a buyer's signature section and there's gonna be a seller's signature portion. So what these guys are gonna do is they're gonna have the seller sign off the title saying that, hey, I'm selling this car off to this, and this. Here's my signature. This is my first name and last name, whatever. And then for the buyer section, which you as the buyer are supposed to fill out, what they will do is they'll make some sort of excuse saying that, hey, I'm buying this car from my mom, I'm buying this for my friend, whatever excuse that they have to leave that portion empty. And now what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and take that same car without registering it, without paying taxes, without doing all the necessary things to put that car legally under their name. Now what they're going to do is they're going to list it up on Marketplace, find a buyer for that vehicle, and they're just going to have that buyer sign that buyer's portion on that title. Now as a title floater, you're just the middleman connecting the seller to your buyer that you find, and you're keeping the profit in between. It's a pretty genius idea if you ask me, and I personally, I know a lot of people who do it. I personally have no problem with it. If that's your cup of tea, go for it. But here's the thing, there's so many legal ways to go about it, and you can do things the right way without having to worry about getting caught by the law or always having to snoop your stuff around a business. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you can see this car flipping thing as a hustle, something you just want to do quick cash get in and out of, but I like to see it as more of a real business. Now that I'm a licensed dealer, you have to do things the right way. You can't just wing things. You can't just do things that you're just gonna make a quick buck from, because now it's gonna come bite you in the ass later. So it's always good to do things the right way the first time. So with that being said, there's mainly 3 ways that you can go ahead and flip cars legally. The first way to do it is by abiding to the law. Now, most states will have a X amount of cars that you can sell per year. For example, where I live, you can sell 5 cars per year. Now here's the fine line between that law. That 5 car per person law applies to an individual, not a household. And there's also the other side of the extremists who will say any car that you buy with the intent of making money from it, that is a 100% illegal. When in reality, if a car is yours, it's your possession, it's under your name, it's up to you legally, whatever the hell you want to do with it. You want to buy it, you want to sell it, you want to flip it, it's 100% your choice. So that's one thing to get out the way. Now let's talk about what we've touched on earlier about the law per individual rather than household. What does this mean for you? Now let's say your state says that, hey, you can't sell more than 5 cars per year. You can say, okay, that's cool. Now what you can do is you can buy 5 cars, right? Most people will only flip 2-3 cars per month, and put them under your name, register them, get the tax for it, get the title under your name. And then once you end up running out of the cars, you can legally register under your name. What you can do in the future cars that you want to buy is you can register them under the people under your household. That means maybe 5 cars under your mom's name, 5 cars under your dad's name, 5 cars under your sibling's name, 5 cars under your cousin's name, 5 cars under your friend's name. Whoever that is not into flipping cars, you can kind of use them as a placeholder for your car, and then they're legally signing off the document saying that, hey, you can sell this car on my behalf, or whatever the fine print says, if that's an agreement you would like to make with them. And then again, if they're not planning to buy a car anytime soon in the near future for whatever reason, you can offer them an incentive like, hey, whatever car that I register under you, I'll pay you $100 for it. So now you're not title floating under somebody, you're not selling a car that's legally not yours, and on top of that, you have full consent from your friend, from your mom, your dad, saying that, hey, I can sell this car legally on their behalf without having to worry about hitting some sort of wall or selling a car that's not really mine. That will definitely help you out when it comes to maneuvering those state laws and regulations and whatnot, especially if this is something you're doing on the side, maybe flipping a couple cars per month. That can help you go a long way until the rest of the year. The second way to buy and sell cars legally is to get a dealer's license. That's how the Secretary of State offices want you to do it. That's how legally you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to get a dealer's license and become an authorized dealer before you go out there and pursue any sort of real business with this whole car stuff. The unfortunate circumstance, especially if you're working a full-time job, is you don't want to have a lot, a location, pay rent, utilities, hire employees, all that stuff when you're just trying to flip cars on Marketplace and Craigslist. That's a whole nother headache to get into, especially if you're trying to just try this out on the side or you're just getting into it. So what's the solution? The solution is to get a wholesale dealer's license. A wholesale dealer's license allows you to get into any auctions, buy and sell as many cars as you like without meeting any state laws or regulations. You don't have to register every car because the title, it just gets assigned over to your company. You get dealer plates with it, and you're basically a regular dealer. Now, the best part is that most states don't even have a big requirement to get started with a wholesale dealer's license. Literally start your own wholesale dealership out of your garage or your office at home. The requirements are not that high. The only drawback between a wholesale dealer's license and a retail dealer's license is that as a wholesaler, you're not allowed to sell to the public. Your main target customers are going to be buyers and other auctions. Now, let's say, for example, you are at a dealer auction. What you're going to do is you're going to find those cars that are going below their wholesale value. You're going to fix it up and you're going to run it back in the auction the next day. Or you can set up a network with other dealerships like, hey, I'm going to give you X amount of cars per week for a fixed cost of $300 per car. So you're speaking in a lot more volume. Obviously, the profit margins are not as high, but it's more of a volume-based business. You don't have to take pictures and hope for it to sell or wonder if it's going to sell or not. It's a guaranteed sale because your car is going to run through that lane in the auction. Or if you're supplying X amount of cars to a certain dealer, then you know that there's this guy is looking for 3 Honda Civics, a few Camrys, a few Corollas, so you can gather all of them and you can just supply them and drop them off at their dealership and just take your paycheck over there. So it's more of a fixed cost operation, and it's a great way to get your foot in the door in the automotive industry and do everything legally, legitimately, without having to worry about getting caught by the law. Now, if you need help setting up your own wholesale dealer's license, we do have locations, offices, and facilities that can help you do so. If you're interested, feel free to shoot me an email at amir@autoflippingacademy.com. I'll leave it in the description as well, so you can go ahead and contact me there. Now, let's say you want to flip cars on the street. You want to buy cars at auctions and you want to flip them on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, because that's what you're comfortable with. You know the profit margins are slightly a bit higher and you don't want to hit the wall of meeting a certain state license or requirement situation. What's the solution for that? How do you do this legally without losing money on plates, registration, taxes, and all that jazz? The easiest way to do that is to become a retail dealer representative. As a representative of a retail dealership, what you are is technically an employee under their company. You have the power of attorney and you are a partner with that dealership, and you can sell cars on behalf of that business. Obviously, you would have to pay taxes at the end for all the cars that you've sold that year. But you would be representing that particular dealership, and as long as that dealership gives you access as an employee to auctions, you can pretty much buy and sell any cars as that dealership. And even if you find cars on Facebook, Craigslist, OfferUp, wherever it is, you can simply sign that buyer's portion as a member or an agent of that dealership, and you can just reassign that over to your customer. Usually with a retail dealership program, it's more of a monthly thing. You'll probably pay them a few $100s per month to stay on their dealership as a representative, therefore allowing you to continue to do business legally in the right way without having to worry about hitting any wall or anything like that. Again, if you need help opening up your own retail dealership, or if you want to become a representative of a retail dealership, feel free to email me at amir@autoflippingacademy.com. I can definitely guide you in the right direction and help you get started. So these were the main 3 ways that you can go about flipping cars legally. I know there's a lot of false information out there, so don't fall into that, guys. These are mainly the 3 things that you need. If you have either at least one of these 3 things, you should be good to go and you should be on your way to flipping cars the right and legal way. If you also want to learn how to flip cars and get into this business, if you're just first starting out, I do have a free training that will link in the description below, known as my 5-step flip system. That will show you how you can earn over $5,000 per month flipping cars just within 30 days. If you're interested in that, that'll also be in the description below, so feel free to check it out and let me know what you think. Other than that, if you have any questions or anything like that, drop them in the comment section below. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.